Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm very excited to be bringing you a little eyeshadow look and mini review kind of series. This is officially starting this series off on my channel, and y'all, when I tell you that I'm excited for these videos, I'm very excited. It's just got me kind of creatively inspired right now to kind of bring you some looks, give you a couple thoughts on palettes that are newer to me and haven't gotten a lot of love for me this year. So yeah, I'm really excited to jump into this palette. Let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, as we get started, this is the Oden's Eye Hela palette. It's a collaboration with Angelica Nyqvist, and for those of you who don't know, I spent a couple years in Sweden myself, and just while I was there, really got into some of the Norse mythology just because it's kind of cool. And so when they released this palette, plus, if you know me, you know I love green, I could not help myself but to pick this up. And then I used it a handful of times and then set it aside and started doing some eyeshadow project pans. And now I'm like, you know what, I have too many palettes that I need to get to know, and ones that I wanted to pull back out and be able to do more looks with. So that's what we're doing today. I'm going to start out with the looks, and then I'll end with kind of giving you a couple thoughts on the palette. I call it a mini review, but it's really not that in depth. Why don't we go ahead and get into look number one. All right, for look number one, I'm going to pop in some clips here. I had a really fun little like mustardy, I don't really know how to explain the color of that like sweater shirt, but I wanted to try to play off that color because this palette has some really unique kind of green tones in it, really like mustardy based greens, if I do say so myself. So I started out with like this guy and this guy in the crease, really fun, like bright crease. It really kind of, I felt in person, did a really good job of coordinating or almost matching that shirt pretty well. And then in the outer corner I threw in this like mossy green, and it's called Decay. And then on the lid I wanted something that looked greener like the shirt. There's nothing quite in this palette that looks like that. This one looks like it's gonna be pretty yellow based, but I found that when you compare it to like that, the yellowness in my shirt, it looked a lot more green for whatever reason. Still a stunning color, but I was very happy with the look. It was a very bright green look, which got me really excited. So that was look number one. Okay, moving into look number two, I wanted to do something that felt a little bit more neutral, like something that I would potentially wear like a ton. Now, one thing I will say about this palette, I love a duochrome, and these duochromes are pretty nice. So I really wanted to play with this guy here because it's stunning. Let me give you a little swatch of it. I mean, hello. It's like a beautiful, delicious, kind of like faint kind of purple base, and then like it's got blue, a little green in it. It's really stunning shade, and I knew I really wanted to play with that. So what I did is take this kind of light pink and kind of mix it just a little bit with that like deeper purple, and kind of put that all into my crease and on my lid, and just kind of keep it simple. That was like the main color, and then I put that all over my lid on top. Y'all, I would literally wear that look all the time. Like that shade is absolutely bonkers pretty. It's probably, I would say, probably my favorite shade in the palette, which kind of surprises me because I love greens so much. Not saying that I don't love the greens here, but just that shade ended up surprising me so much more than I thought it would. Now, moving into look number three, we have one that I wanted to take green again, but I wanted to do like straight up more fall, mossy tone. I don't know, makes sense, if that makes sense, like a green look. So what we did was throw in this shade called Moss, in fact, in the crease. Then we did Decay on the outer corner, and then on top I used the shade Golden Bridge here, and another really stunning shade. Hopefully you can see that right there. Just a really pretty green. Definitely a look that I would do any day in the fall, which is really exciting because this palette, when I first look at it, I knew I wanted it because it was green, but at the same time I was like, DaLin, is it too bright for like everyday use? I know myself, and I know my favorite palettes are things that I can easily wear every day almost, and yet still feel like I can pull a ton of different looks out of it. So the fact that I felt like, okay, I can do that with this palette, that was a really nice thing. Now, before we talk about this look that I'm wearing, I will say I will link two different videos here. I believe one of them is I was featuring a look from this palette, or not featuring, it wasn't the focus of the video, but I was wearing a look from this palette that I absolutely adored. This shade down here called Double Sided is probably my second favorite shade in the palette. It's this gorgeous like peachy to golden green duochrome here, and I actually have it on today, but I have that all over my lid in the video, and then I have a neon green liner from Suva Beauty, and that look probably is one of my favorites that I've done from this palette. Now, I had not decided to do this video series yet, so I don't have that look like recorded specifically to put in here, but you can click on the link to that video to see it. Another look that I did partially with this, I'll link from another video. I ended up using this more blue based green and this guy here in a look. I was wearing like a green shirt and I thought that it would match, and it did really well. So I will link that video here, but that's that one swatched. That look also was really stunning, although I did use some greens from my little Limelight palette here in that, like in my crease, and then I used those two, I believe, on the outer corner and on the lid. So if you're interested in seeing a look with that, go also check out that video. Now let's quickly talk about the look that I'm wearing right now. Another simple kind of look in terms of, I feel like this one is, while it's bright pink and fun, it's like something I would definitely wear quite often in the summer. I'm someone who wears colors seasonally, just a little bit more comfortable doing that. But today, super easy crease, like outer corner. I did this a little bit on the outer corner, and I was really, this shade and this shade, these two deeper ones are probably the ones I was most intimidated by in this palette, but I was really glad to make myself use that one, and I thought that it looked so beautiful. It looks so deep that it's almost going to be a brown, but it actually looked very purple on my eyes, which I was really happy with, because I think like a purple goes beautifully with these shades. And then, like I said, this shade here, like a nice peachy pink on the lid. And then I wanted it to pull a little bit green, so I tried to put this over the top. And I don't think you can really tell. I think that this kind of shade shines through quite a bit. This one has a very sheer base, so that makes sense that you're really seeing the peachiness, because this is a peachy, and then this has a strong peach duochrome in it, so layered together, it's very peachy. Not mad at it at all. And then I decided I wanted to try a little bit of like green somewhere, and I felt like this dark blue based green would look really pretty, so I kind of used it as like a smoked out liner in the outer corner. Again, really pretty, and actually looks almost kind of blue when it mixes in with that purple and that pink on the outer corner. Really like it. I really think that these are smart shades to put together. I probably would not think to do that, but then again, I don't make palette layouts. So with that being said, we're sliding into the mini review part of this, and if you can't tell, I am quite happy with this palette purchase. I think the one shade in it that I wish I could switch out, because I'm gonna give you a con with every one of these reviews. There's not many cons for this palette. The one thing I might change is that I don't personally feel super comfortable wearing this kind of shade, and I almost wish that I had just like some more neutral, almost boring kind of light brown shade, just something so that if I wanted to tone down a look a little bit more, I could, but at the same time, you know, I think this palette's stunning. I did pull out two green palettes just to kind of hold up and show you that also got recently, just in case you're curious. Now, these palettes, while they might look the same, I will say this right up front, very honestly, that I love ColourPop shadows and I love these colors, but this quality does not hold a candle to the Oden's Eye quality. I think that the Oden's Eye quality is much better. You get more fun, like texture, like the duochromes in the Hela palette are just way better than like the shimmers that you would get here. So I wanted to swatch this guy. I feel like this guy's probably or maybe all three of these little guys, they're very similar in some ways to like some of the greens in the palette, but not really in my opinion. Hopefully you see there, those are the Tinkerbell shades, and then they have that blue based green from the Hela palette. Like I said, I'm digging that shade from the Hela palette way more in quality. And then this guy, the Limelight palette, I gotta turn it the right way to open it. These guys are pretty good quality, but again, just does not really stand up when you want to compare it to what Oden's Eye brings to the table in terms of formula. The shades in here are just a little bit more special. They have a little bit more glitter to them, a little bit more intensity to them. The mattes are a little bit more pigmented and not hard to blend, but definitely don't require like building up like you may have to build up some of these shades. I will say like the mauve shade in this guy, like that peachy mauve shade, I definitely have to build that up quite a bit, and it doesn't really build, like it's just a super light color in general. I will be honest, I have not used this one yet, but it's going to be in a future video. But I'm guessing, you know, comparing it to other ColourPop formulas, I'll just leave it at that, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Short, sweet, lots of looks, a little bit of review. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you're excited to see more in this series. I'm really excited to bring it to y'all. Make sure you say hello, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.